Well, hello, my friend. Today we are going on a journey into crypto to work out what are the top 10 strongest cryptos. What are the strongest players? As we go into potentially a crux, is it a bear market? Is it a bull market? It matters less about what are the best degen projects, and it matters more about what are the strongest projects. Now, how do we measure the strongest projects? So, we're going to use some rudimentary metrics like how much money have they got locked into the protocol and how much money are they generating. So that is the metric we're going to look at today. So with any business, one of the big metrics that anyone wants to know, are you making money? Is money being made? How many people are using it? Now, these are the important metrics, and we're going to look at these today. We're also going to look at the case. So for a start, crypto is not safe. No crypto is safe by the definition of safe because of the volatile swings that happens. So when we're in this zone, it's very rocky waters. Now, the degen game is great when the market's going up, but when it goes down, as you will know, some of you will be sitting like me on a degen portfolio with up to 90% losses. Now, if you can't sustain that, then you shouldn't be in crypto in the first place. However, for people that are new to crypto, for people that are just looking to what should I do now, this is a grounded guide into let's look at the most solid projects that are actually making money. And not only that, but the potential of why people get into crypto in the first place. So, with that in mind, it's not financial advice, it's just a fact finding mission, my friends. A fact finding mission into crypto. So, firstly, we always start here. This is CoinGlass. This is Bitcoin ETF inflow. And as you see, the reason the market has been rinsed is BlackRock are up to their tricks again. IBIT Trust, BlackRock. They went bullish for a bit and now they've gone completely reverse. They've gone bearish. And there's massive outflows across the board over the last 3 days. So that is why the crypto market's been down. And this is how it gets manipulated. It gets manipulated, my friends. Let's look at the overall market. And let's look at 7 days. These are the top 100 cryptos. And look, we see Bitcoin is down 6.5% in the last 7 days. It's a terrible time for crypto unless you're in Axie Infinity, of course, which every now and again altcoins are going to blow up. And it's Axie's turn in the sun. Next week, that will probably be down, possibly equal amount. Sandbox. Now, none of these projects have done particularly well. But this week has obviously been a good week for them. You're always going to get one or two projects that do okay. But let's look at the other side. This is where crypto can be dangerous. Look, there are not any other industries I know where a 27% loss on the week would be a normal thing. Normal. I mean, it would happen occasionally, but a normal thing. And this is normal in crypto, especially all of these Sui, Pepe, Bonk, WorldCoin, even Pump.Fun down 15%. And these are big projects. Arbitrum, Lido DAO, these are big projects, my friends. And this is the game we're in. This is a very volatile place. So next thing that we do, we go to the long short ratio. We see who's putting on longs and who's putting on shorts. Now, this looks fairly balanced. When there's too many longs, you can guarantee the market's going to go short. And when there's too many shorts, you guarantee the market's going long. Now, I watched an interesting video last night saying that there is 4 times more liquidity on people going short by the market going up. That from a market maker's perspective, it makes way more sense to go up to $100,000 Bitcoin because there's 4 times more liquidity from people going short at the moment than there is going down to 80. So whether that will be the case, the market never tends to lose. So it does seem likely that in the short term, only in the short term, that we could see $100,000 Bitcoin. But again, it's pure speculation. Nobody knows for sure. I asked 3 AI engines. What are the top 10 projects? Now, before I even click on this, the data on a lot of these cuts off at a certain point and it can't be seen as accurate. But let's ask them anyway. What are the top 10 strongest, safest cryptos and why? Now, safe does not exist in crypto. It just doesn't. So everything's relative, but always at the top is going to be Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then Solana, Binance Coin, XRP, Cardano, Polkadot, which I don't agree with. That just shows me. When I see Polkadot and Avalanche there, that tells me this is old news. Old news, Chainlink and Litecoin. So that's the top 10 that Grok gives us. Here we are, ChatGPT, the top 10 strongest, safest cryptos. Bitcoin, Ethereum, USD coin, which is a stable coin, Binance, Solana, Cardano, XRP, again, Polkadot, somehow an Avalanche have made it onto it, and Chainlink. Honorable mentions, so Litecoin, Stellar, Cosmos, and Monero. And finally, Perplexity. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, another stable coin, USD, a stable coin, Solana, Cardano, Binance, XRP, Chainlink, and honorable mentions for Polygon, Avalanche, and Monero. Now let's cut out AI, let's cut out speculation, let's go to where you need to look. This is DeFi Llama. Now, there's two metrics to look at. The first one is total value locked. That's how much money is in the protocol. And the second one is fees paid. How much money is it generating? So we start with Ethereum and we see, in fact, let's start with Bitcoin because this is an anomaly. There's less value locked, but this is a completely different style of crypto. Bitcoin is separate to the rest of crypto, and it's separate because it is beyond being able to be regulated because no one knows who to regulate. It's a mysterious system where there is no team, there's no head office. There's just wallets and Satoshi, the mysterious Satoshi. So Bitcoin really is beyond compare. But just look, there's only 227,000 in fees. So you'll see, even though this is a top tier crypto, it doesn't really hold up to the same metrics. The best one for total value locked will be Ethereum. And the reason being, Ethereum was first to market. It was slower and clunkier and more expensive, but it got in first, it got in early. And so there's a lot of value locked in Ethereum. And now there's all sorts of protocols that are trying to make it faster and more scalable. But 68,000. But then we go down to here, fees paid. Now, this is only 24 hours, but you see 18 million. 18 million fees paid in Ethereum. And you can see where they're paid. Look, Athena, Lido DAO, Aave, Sky, Chainlink, top tier projects. So next along, we look at Solana. Now, although there's not as much total value locked, Solana has more transactions. Well, it hasn't got as much fees paid over the last 24 hours, but there's more transactions on Solana because it's cheaper. It is cheaper, but you see, look, lots of transactions going on there. Lots of good news for these cryptos here. Solana is the most well-used crypto, the most scalable, the most proven under pressure, with 8 billion. Next to BSC, 6.7 billion. And look, a big drop down to 4.7 million in fees paid over 24 hours. So Base, now there's not a coin for Base, you can't get that, so it doesn't really matter, but just for reference, 1.7 billion and 4.8 billion. TRON, 4.8 billion, the same as Base, and 1.13 billion or million. So Plasma, I don't even know why that's on here. Arbitrum. So we're going right down now. We're going right down to 2.85 billion and 920,000. But there's still good money. Bear in mind that the market is being rinsed at the moment. So the last 24 hours, this is a down market. This is where things aren't going right. Here's Polygon, which made it to some lists, 1.1 billion and 597,000, which is way less than Arbitrum, which is why these lists that I showed you are not up to date. And look, Avalanche was on a few lists, 1.1 billion with only 296,000. So now let's look at the game of crypto. This is the game. People wish they'd got into Bitcoin early because of this. Look at this. Look, we're going to look from all-time low. Now, there's not an ICO here, so we can't compare it on that. So we have to go with the all-time low. If you'd have got in at Bitcoin's all-time low, you're sitting on a 34 million% rise, which is why early Bitcoiners are made for life now. And this is a dream. What's the next Bitcoin? Now, Ethereum's the closest thing to it. Now, Ethereum, we see from their ICO, this is initial coin offering. So from their ICO, people are almost on 1,000,000% profit. So Ethereum has made it. They've made it as well. It's late in the game for Ethereum. This is institutional adoption figures. ICO price, 31 cents, which looks like a massive bargain now, my friends, sitting on almost $3,000. So Ethereum and Bitcoin have made big money. Bitcoin way more than Ethereum. Now we take a big step down. So Binance, I mean, it's still not bad. It's still a top tier project, but from their ICO, they're 590,000%. And you've seen the figures there. Solana. Now, look, this is why Solana, I think, is a massive opportunity, considering that it is doing more transactions than any other chain, 57,000, which when we compare it to these other big boys and the percentage margins that they've made, makes for me Solana the most established top tier project with the potential. And look, I just want to compare, look, to Ethereum. It's got more transactions than Ethereum. And look, my friends, this is why I shout out about Solana a lot. Let's look at TRON, another top tier. And again, look, not as much, but we saw that the figures aren't as impressive on when we go back here. It's not quite as impressive, TRON, but it's still a fairly top tier one. So TRON, again, 1.13 million still represents reasonable. Now we go into, this isn't a degen zone, but this is top tier projects with genuine potential. And this is what people are speculating on now. Is there a Solana killer? Is there an Ethereum killer? And if there is, it's probably one of these. Now, this is Arbitrum, which I have talked about. Now, look, from all of these massive figures that we're talking about, from their all-time low, it's only up all-time low, 3.13%. We're sitting on virtually their all-time low. And this is the game, my friends. Depending on your degen risk factor, yes, this could go down 15% in a week. But look, I just want to take you back here. It's sitting on virtually the all-time low, virtually now. Now, if we go back to here, Arbitrum. So let's look here. It's still got 2.85 billion locked in, and it's still generating almost 1 million in fees on a down market. People are using it, which is why projects like Arbitrum, for people with a slightly mid-tier risk factor, these are the projects to look at. And Sui, the other one, again, look, from the IEO ROI, this is actually sitting a lot prettier than Arbitrum. So that was sold at 0.03. So they're sitting on a pretty profit of 4,800. And Sui, compared to Arbitrum, let's move me out of the way here. You can see has a lower total value locked than Arbitrum and is generating considerably less money. So based on these, for top tier projects, the entry that looks the most appealing from an early stage, get in early, is there massive profit made, looks to be Arbitrum. But again, with the market here potentially in a bear market, I would argue it's possibly not the time to go in. Maybe with a tiny, tiny amount, maybe 1% of your portfolio, it might be worth the risk. The thing is, it's down potential v up potential. Now, yes, this could go down further, but the upside potential is off the scale, my friends. And this is how to cut through all of the nonsense, because influencers will shell coins. So here's the game on YouTube. that little projects get up to influencers with big audiences and say nice things about this coin, and they'll go up and shill them. They'll get a free bag of them. And then when the price pumps, because everybody buys them, they will sell them and make a profit. And that, my friends, is the pump and dump. You can cut through all of this nonsense with these tools that I've shown you in the background. Are they generating income? Is there value locked in the project? Is there inherent value? And this is not the degen game. This is the opposite of the degen game. This is thinking like an investor. Are people using the blockchain? Is it generating income in the blockchain? And you can see today, these are a couple of the top projects, just to take the rose tinted glasses off. Now, some of you will be there saying, XRP, you didn't mention XRP. That's a top tier project. XRP has great potential and is in with the banking system and has ETFs and will probably make money. But the fact is, right now, it's not generating as much money. In fact, let's go back to the thesis, my friends. I mean, because it has, I am aware. Let's see. Let us see, my friends, just for the record. Are they even showing XRP on here? Well, we can't find it. Why is XRP not on? Let's have a look. Let's see. And we can't find it. It is not there on DeFi Llama for whatever reason. So we don't know. We don't know. But the point being that things that we can track, things that we can track will give us safety, security in knowing that even when the market goes down, that certain blockchains are still generating money. And that's where it's at, my friend. But at the moment, we could be in a bear market. We could be in a bull market. The safer play at the moment would be to hold stable coins and to wait and see until we get more positive market signs. But for you degens, for people that have to go into crypto, definitely, 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 by far the safest asset right now. And safe is relative. Nothing safe in crypto would be Bitcoin. But I would say sit on the fence for now. But for you people looking for the mid-tier risk factor, oh, a project that does have potential, well, it looks like Arbitrum as far as risk, reward, and entry point and top-tier projects is concerned. So, my friends, that's what I think, but that's not what I think really, because that's just based on stats. That's me reading charts, reading stats. What do you think? Which project that is fairly top tier, that is being used, are people not talking about? And this is the crypto game. Which one will make you the most money? Well, right now, I'm on the fence, my friends, but them's the facts. Them's the facts. And if you've enjoyed this content, then do please subscribe to the channel. Do a little channel a favor. And if you want more content from me, you'll find it just there. But either way, my friend, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.